Well, hello there. This is Shop Talk with Buck. I am Buck, and welcome to my shop. Today we're talking about wood finish, specifically the shellac, how I mix it up and why I mix it up and don't go to the big box stores. I know Home Depot sells it, but I'll tell you why I don't buy that. I'd rather mix it up myself. Stick with me and I'll show you how I do it. Well, I use the shellac, the flakes, de-wax shellac. And the reason why I do this is I turn a lot of bowls. And the thing about it is, when you finish the bowls, you really don't know what the person's going to put in it. You know, if they put fruit or some kind of edibles in it, you want a finish that is food safe. Now, you can go to the store and buy it in a can, but it is not food safe. So you see, when I mix this up, I try to mix up enough for, I don't know if that, when I mix this up, I try to mix up enough to what I think I'm going to use in 30 days. But it loses its, it get where, every 30 days you need to mix up some more. But when you buy it in the cans, I know Home Depot sells it. But the thing about it is, they put an additive in it that will make it last. Well, when they do that, it's not food safe anymore. So I mix it up. I can mix up the poundage I want. I like the 2-pound cut. I like put it on pretty heavy at first, let it go on soak in, and put it on pretty heavy at first, and then I can manually cut it or do a layer of denatured alcohol and kind of thin it back that way. And I finish off with a thin layer, and that gives you a better shine. Myself, I don't like a super shine, because you can French polish. A lot of people French polish with this thing, where it is, and I've done it, it takes a lot of time. But you wind up with a shine that kind of looks fake, kind of looks plasticky. And I like the wood itself. You got to put something on it. This is what I use. I'm going to show you today how I mix it up. And like I say, you've got a chart right here to go by. You can find this on the net or anything, but there's the pound cut that you're looking for. It reflection is horrible. This is the mixture. These are 1 pound, 1.5, 2, and so on. But this is the denatured alcohol here. In other words, I like doing 8 ounces because that's about what I use in a 30-day period. And I like the 2-pound cut. So you got 8 fluid ounces of denatured alcohol. And 2 ounces of the flakes. Them are the flakes I'm using. I buy it online. I'll try to look this thing up and find a link to this thing, and I'll put it down in the description. But see my little can. I like the plastic. The glass jars, it seems to weld itself. The plastic don't. I guess it gives. So I get me an old peanut butter jar. I will set it right here. So what I'll do, I'll turn this on. I'll take my alright, I hit again to zero it out. So on the chart, I need 2 ounces of flakes. I got my 2 ounces. And so what I need now, okay, we're done with that. So what I need now is 8 ounces to be fluid ounces. So I'll have 8 ounces right here. Okay, 8 ounces of denatured alcohol. So what I want to do, it's pretty simple. You just have to work with it and stir it until you get it mixed up, but it'll be tomorrow sometime before it's mixed up. So I just work it over here pretty good right now, and then periodically, just every time I walk by it, I'll open it up and stir it up. The finer, they got these little grinders where you can grind that up real fine and make it mix up better, quicker. Well, not better, quicker, because this will finally get mixed up. But once it's mixed up, it's mixed up. You know, it can sit around, it'll remain mixed up. But I could fill this thing up, but like I say, in 30 days, you can tell the difference. It's you don't really need to use it after 30 days. But you mix up what you need. I usually mix up 8 ounces. There's times that I've mixed up twice that. But I knew I had a lot of finishing to do. So I'm just gonna mix around here and there's some things I wanted to cover. Yeah, 30-day shelf life. Oh, we're just gonna do an applicator. The thing about it is, denatured alcohol evaporates pretty quick. So I brought a good brush, and I keep another jar to put this thing. After you brush it on, if you had a big project, you take a pretty good brush and brush it on. Then you dry it off, of course. And I just take a paper towel and wrap around it and get it where it don't drip. And I'll set it up here. And that thing get hard as a rock. You put it in some denatured alcohol and let it soak for a little while. It's just like new. So you can use your brush if you got big projects. Smaller projects, something you don't want to build up on or anything like that. I've got a rag, a coarse rag. They got a name for these rags, but you could almost see through them. And I get me some cotton balls. That's about all I got left. I need to give me some more cotton balls done. I give me some cotton balls, put right in the middle. And what a lot of people do, that when you're ready to, it's like I was ready to do it, I would soak this down good, and I'd pull all the corners up. I'd get me a rubber band then. All right, now that's an applicator. We can rub it on your, and you just soak it down. I keep it in little bottles like this where you can just give it some more, or take some denatured alcohol. I got one of these bottles that's nothing but denatured alcohol. Say, for instance, you get her good and thick in here, and you're getting closer to the end of you won't put that final touches on it. You just put pure denatured alcohol in it, and then rub over it, and it kind of melts it all together and gives you that little extra sheen that you look for. So, but what I was going to do, I've got a applicator already in use right here. We're just going to finish this little throwaway thing I got. It's food safe. I'm not worried about protecting my hands. It just gets a little sticky, you know what I mean? I don't like it sticky and getting it all over my tools and cameras and whatnot. So what you do is, for instance, let her soak into your applicator. See, it makes that wood pop, but it don't put a fake look on it. You get too much on it, and so that'll draw in. The beauty part about shellac with denatured alcohol, once the denatured alcohol, which evaporates very quickly, you're ready to put another coat on. But you can tell if you say it's pulling on me just a little bit. Once it stops pulling on you, once it sets up, you can go with a couple more minutes. This thing will be ready for another coat. Put as many coats on there as you want. But as many coats as you want to put on it. And like I say, it's a real forgiving. If you got a table and somebody lays, you know how you put lays a ring around it, it's easier to fix. It's not as durable, but it's more forgiving, easier to fix. I like shellac myself. We're gonna stir this thing, and every time I walk by it, I'll stir on it. And this time tomorrow, it'll be ready to go. So I'm going to leave that right there. We'll just let her solve in. That's all I got left. So, and they last about 30 days on average. So what we're going to do, we'll just let that settle in. That's shellac. That's what I use. That's what I like. I keep it around. If I'm turning on a lathe and it's got a soft place that needs to be stiffened up, I'll put some of this, let it wick itself in there. It'll stiffen it right up where you can cut it with your tools. That's where I first started using it. Then I got to noticing how well it was doing. So what I done, I come up with a friction polish. That's that right there. I got boiled linseed oil, 2-pound cut of shellac, and denatured alcohol, which makes it a 1 pound. But those three mixed together, equal parts. I got a friction polish I use on a lathe, and that friction gives it a little shine, more of a shine. You just stop when you want to, when you've got enough. Now some of the lathe things, I like to have a shine to it, if you know what I mean. Well, I think it's going to do it today. I've been talking about, and I even got some questions on shellac, but this is the way I do it. You go to the store and buy it in a can. It's not food safe, but it will last more than 30 days because that's what they add to it or take away. Usually on food or anything else. In other words, the Bible says daily bread. Well, for it to last, in other words, if the true bread will only last 24 hours and it rots. But that's not economical. So they take away the fiber. You know what I mean? So it will stay on the shelf for a week. But now they took what the body needed, and now the bread is not as good for you. It's because, well, it all goes back to money. I mean, it's not economical to make this bread every day, so they take something out that makes it rot to where it lasts a week. You know, make more money, but it's not as good for you. So we'll leave that right there. That's the way I do shellac. That's the way I finish a lot of my projects. Stuff that's going outside, I'll put something more durable on it, more weatherproof. Okay, it kind of all depends on what you're doing and where it's going, and so stuff for in the house. I mean, this isn't a problem. A table where you're gonna have a lot of drinks sitting on it, I might go a little something that won't leave a ring and bother it. You know, it kind of what you're building. But most of what I do, the shellac works, or it's the base. So I hope y'all got something from this. Hope you enjoyed it. If y'all don't mind, leave me a comment on what you think about this little deal. It's not for everybody. I like it. It's a good finish, quick. You're ready to apply it second coat in just a few minutes. Just a few minutes. You can apply as many coats as you want. Stop when you want, and so forth and so on. So, y'all be good. I'll catch you on the next one. And y'all tell me what you think. See you on the next one.